right now.
For Kell.
Here's the thing that it's funny that I was working last weekend at a local boxing show in San Francisco, and Shawn Porter and Kenny Porter came up to me talking about how, the fact that there was no drug testing in my fight with Shawn Porter, or no random drug testing, and there was no random drug testing in the Devin Alexander fight. But they assured me that they would be all for random drug testing, and so I shouldn't be talking so much about the lack of drug testing that there was. Because, obviously the curiosity will fly when not only was I knocked out, but I was very close to being put into a coma from what the doctor told me at the hospital. So, obviously I'm going to be very curious myself.
Is that the hardest you've ever been hit?
Hardest by far I've ever been hit. And Miguel Cotto was a big puncher, but Miguel Cotto you kind of anticipated. Regardless of the fact, I feel like I got to put this out there because Kell was saying that he implemented random drug testing in the contract, but Kenny Porter was telling me that they were okay with doing random drug testing for the Kell Brook fight, but that Eddie Hearn was just talking, but there was no random drug testing. Now, I don't know what's being told on what side, but I feel like I should put this out there in case Kell does think that there's random drug testing going on, because according to Kenny Porter, there is no random drug testing going on.
Can you clarify the situation regarding the random drug testing? You've asked for it?
Yeah, I've asked for it. I've seen some out there that I've got to be careful what I said, but I've had no random drug tests, and I don't know what the situation. We said, in the contract at the beginning when we were negotiating as purses, the venue, like all the messing about, we said that we needed that random drug testing in, and no signs.
Okay.
Can you elaborate on anything there?
Well, listen, I don't really know the situation. I know obviously that you had asked for it before. You and Eddie had asked for this before, but as regards to the situation now, I'm not too sure. So perhaps it's a good idea just to leave that one there. And
we're nearly at the fight, and there's no one been looking. I've had nothing like that's been happening. No drug testers, so I'm not happy about this.
Let me ask you this, Paulie. Do you think Kell would have fared better against Devin Alexander than he will against the new Shawn Porter next month?
Oh no, that's the thing. I don't know, and it's funny that you say that, Bunty, the new Shawn Porter, because really, before he fought me, he hadn't had a KO in 2 years, and before he fought Devin Alexander, he was barely hurting anybody he was hitting. And I spoke to Devin Alexander's trainer, and Kevin Cunningham told me himself Devin was hurt several times in the fight, and kept telling him how strong Shawn was afterwards. So this is certainly the new Shawn Porter. And before the Devin Alexander fight and the Napoleon Malignaggi fight, when he fought myself, obviously, we weren't really seeing a very powerful Shawn Porter. We were seeing a physically strong Shawn Porter. We were seeing a guy who can basically win fights by roughing you up and taking away your rhythm by forcing a good pace, a sloppy pace, but nonetheless making guys uncomfortable. And he hadn't yet stepped up to world class, but he had beaten some decent fighters. Had he looked like a world beater? Absolutely not. So
Before Porter burst into the boxing scene, he was going the distance with lesser opposition, such as Alfonso Gomez. Alfonso Gomez is the same opponent who got taken out by Miguel Cotto within 4 or 5 rounds. Now, Porter was able to hurt Devin Alexander multiple times the same way Matisse did, and he was able to take out Malignaggi in 4 to 5 rounds, which is something nobody has ever done. Now, it's important to note that during this time period is the same time period where he started working with Victor Conte. If you don't know who Victor Conte is, here's a promo.
To meet.
His name is Victor Conte, and he says he supplied some of the biggest names in sports, from Olympic winners to football heroes, with a huge array of illegal performance-enhancing drugs. Tonight, he names names in an exclusive interview with our new colleague, correspondent Martin Bashir.
They're among America's greatest sports stars. Football players. Baseball players. Olympic athletes. We cheer them, we admire them. Our children want to be them. Now meet the man who says he gave illegal drugs to all of them. Tonight, he'll tell us for the first time how he says he beat the system.
I know that the anti-doping rules that are in place are so easy for the athletes to beat, it's like taking candy from a baby.
Here is Victor Conte's take on the standard drug testing in boxing.
Is just doing it legally now, and that's why none of his people are testing positive. Juan Manuel Marquez, no, impossible.
No, because they don't have any testing. What testing is Juan Manuel Marquez doing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, didn't he get tested in Vegas?
Well, that's about tapering off and just, you have to be dumb. That's IQ testing. That's not drug testing.
Kenny Porter is asked again if random drug testing will be implemented in this fight, and now he changes his answer from "I requested it and no" to "I requested it and yes."
Can you illuminate us on that? What's going on from your end? What you think is going on? Why would he think that you guys are doing testing when 3 weeks from the fight it hasn't even happened yet?
Okay, just to clear that up on my end, on our end, we asked for the testing. Okay, we asked for the testing on that. And I asked for the testing not only this fight, but I asked for it in the Malignaggi fight. I asked for it in the Devin Alexander fight. Of course, we take tests before every fight and after every fight. Okay, so the request came from me first. It didn't come from her. Then I received a phone call from the people that were in charge of everything, and they said, "Ken, you got what you wanted. You got the testing." Okay, fine. Then we received a contract that said we would be testing for the fight, and of course we signed off on everything. But as of yet, at this moment, no one's knocked on the door. But what you need to know about that is this. No one's knocked on the door to give us a test. But what you need to know about that, this is why it's called random drug testing.
Obviously, we know Kell Brook's out in America, ahead of next week's fight with Shawn Porter. I saw an interview yesterday with Kenny Porter saying that it was them that asked for the drug testing, random drug testing, not you. So, what do you say about that? Because I actually heard him say that in like a media.
I think Kenny Porter lives on another planet. Like, he's talked so much rubbish throughout the whole build-up to this fight. Like, he was the one originally who said, "We've signed, we're waiting on Brook to sign." Well, actually, we'd signed, and then I spoke to the IBF who confirmed Porter hadn't signed. So that was a load of rubbish. And then they come back and they said, what, 3 weeks ago, there is no random testing for this fight. But now he's saying there is, and he asked for it. So, I mean, he just lives on Planet Porter. But, I think that bottom line is one of our requests, and again, I'm not one of these people who goes, get the emails, but I'll show you the email to Golden Boy that requested in the terms that random drug testing has to occur.
So is it possible that you just both asked for
Possibly,
it?
Yeah.
Right.
But then why 2 weeks ago did he say, "Oh, Eddie Hearn says there's random testing for this fight"? There is no random testing. Now there is random testing, and he asked for it. I think he's talking himself into a bit of a corner with it. I love the way this is playing out, because I like it when you've got someone, chatting up your man and talking all these nonsenses. And I think he's putting a little bit of pressure on Shawn Porter.
Has there been any advanced drug testing for this fight?
Absolutely. Yes, we've been drug testing. We had a random drug test last week. We expect to get another one this week. I requested the drug testing. That was my request before the fight, contrary to what anyone else thinks. Chick Hearn, his promoter, did not request that. I requested that. I made that phone call, and I said I would like to get random drug testing. So here we are. We would like to get that, for this fight, the next fight, until his career is over with.
Who's doing the testing?
Testing is being done by UCLA and the California Athletic Commission in conjunction with both. They both came to our house, to our home, and they both took care of that. And then also they used, I think, a blood testing. They did urine and blood testing. So everything was taken care of, and we expect them to come in here. They could come in here right now, so they can come anytime they like.
Now, to make this clear, USADA was originally supposed to participate in this fight, but it did not happen because the fight got moved up from a September date to an August date. So it wasn't a large enough time period for USADA to do his thing. So instead, the California Athletic Commission took over, and they will do the drug testing for this.
I mean, Brook is dominating at the moment, really.
Right, good shot, struck Brook. Zinchenko landed a big right hand, and there was a wobble there, and Brook's in a bit of trouble.
Now, Brook is not known to have the best chin, so this will be the perfect time for Porter to be able to display his raw power in his first fight, being tested, randomly drug tested, while working with Victor Conte, to disprove all the people who might have suspicion of him being on performance-enhancing drugs.
Majority decision, and the new champion, the special one.
The special one enjoying this very special